welcome back everybody to another episode. Back in episode 24, I had Gary Abear on, and we talked about his custom-built autocross Jeep. As odd as it sounds, I actually know personally three people with autocross Jeeps. And today I have Grant Skidmore. He's racing a 97 XJ Jeep. Welcome to the show, Grant.
Thanks for having me on.
Yep. So, those that don't know, XJ is like the boxy 90s Cherokees. Grant, you have two-door, two-wheel drive, which is
Yep.
probably a pretty big oddball. Were those things pretty rare?
Uh, they kind of are. You don't see a whole lot of them, and not compared to like a four-door automatic, you
Mm.
know. And four-wheel drive is pretty prevalent for the Cherokees. You find two-wheel drives every once in a while. They're not again. They're just not as prevalent as the four-wheel drives.
Yeah. I've only seen one besides yours, like locally, and it was a guy I worked with, and he had told us about it when he was buying it, and I really didn't have a clue what he was talking about because I didn't even know they existed. And then he shows up, and I'm like, as soon as I saw it, I was like, man, that would be a cool race car.
uh, yeah, hey, it works out. They do turn into pretty little race cars.
Yeah. So what's the history of you and autocross and this Jeep in particular?
So autocross, I let's see. So I got this Jeep probably in 2015, 2016, probably 2016. And I just wanted to make a fun little street machine out of it and do some autocross. I didn't want to get real serious about it. And then throughout the process of getting it lowered and into a position to do that, uh, I did a couple, and then I met somebody. I met Travis Walters at Carlisle, and he said, "Hey, if you want to get more seat time, or if you want to go to an event where you get more seat time, go to Mo Party."
Mm.
So I go to Mo Party, I believe in 2021 or 22, and then I met some other guys from Hickory, North Carolina,
Mm.
and they said, "Hey, do you want to come autocross at Winston-Salem with us?" And then I did a few autocrosses that year and decided I wanted to do a full season of it. And that's where we are today. I'm now in I think I'm in my fourth full season of autocross now.
Okay. Yeah, so you're about the
Really
same as me.
wild.
So 2021 Mo Party was my first time ever
Okay.
autocrossing. And the Duster was the only thing I've ever autocrossed. I've never driven anything else.
Yep.
So
I'm in the same boat. I'm in the same boat.
okay. So we're both kind of dumb because we've chose the wrong platforms.
Yes, definitely.
So what kind of changes have you made like to lower it? That's a link bar rear, isn't it?
So it's leaf sprung in the rear
Okay, leaf springs. Okay.
still. And it's a four link tube axle setup in the front.
Mm.
Um, so to lower it, uh, obviously you can go leaf under
Mm.
in the rear, and then in the front it gets a little complicated, or it's a little bit more in depth than that, I guess. But with a tube axle, you can, like what I did, you can weld an extra axle tube. I had a spare axle tube.
Mm.
Welded an axle tube to the bottom, cut the top part out so it comes in, drops down, and
Ah.
then you can start lowering it and cut the bump stop cups off, and it makes clearance for up travel around your oil pan in
Mm.
that sense. And there's some other stuff that goes along with that, but that's the basic idea.
It's kind of neat because that kind of resembles back what like a long time ago, like the Model A guys. I think
Yep.
they used to flip their axles and maybe
Yeah.
bend them and all that
Yep.
kind of stuff.
Yeah. Exactly. They would stretch the ends up,
Mm.
right, and
Yeah.
stuff like that. It's I've joked in the past. It's like a set of leaf springs away from being a gasser.
So, I mean, what are some challenges with making a straight axle car actually turn?
I'll be honest, just getting it kind of low. That was the most challenging part. And everything else, and I say is just luck because it works. It works. I don't know what the magic sauce is there,
Mm,
but it works. You know, you get into it, you decide you want to autocross, like, okay, I need a little bit more caster, I need a little bit more camber. You can add those things in. There's
mm,
a couple of different ways. But that's really all I've done to it. You know, I did the tube axle, chopped it up, got it lowered where I wanted it, played around with spring rates a little bit in the front. Um, but that's pretty much it. It's a super simple setup.
mm. So when you were fabbing that axle, did you add in the camber and caster to it?
So no, I didn't
Mm.
because at the time when I did the axle, I didn't know I was going to be this hardcore into autocross. So I left stock dimensions, which is not terribly bad. The way the caster is adjusted on that one, because I basically went from a 4 link setup to a radius arm setup,
Mm,
just to keep it simple, and try something different. And so my caster is really easy to adjust. It's basically an axle, and you just rock the axle back and forth to get your caster in. And then as far as camber goes, a lot of guys that do this, they will if they want a lot of camber, they will cut the axle tube almost all the way through and just let it bend
mm,
and weld it up. But you can also go through SPC Performance and
mm.
they sell um, alignment ball joints or what
Ah,
they call adjustable ball joints, and they're just offset ball joints. And
really?
you can set them in for camber, you can set them forward, backwards for caster. But I used them and I set them, you know, in because I wanted
Mm.
some more camber.
Okay. What is that, like a bolt-in ball joint?
Nope, they're pressed in, unfortunately.
Okay.
It's kind of a pain, but it
Yeah.
works.
I've never seen a offset ball joint. I didn't even know that existed.
Yep, yep, they exist. They're
Seems a lot less permanent than cutting your axle
it,
and hoping you hit the angle you need.
yeah, yeah. Yeah. Cut it, put the angle finder on it, set the Jeep back down, let it just kind of bend back in. Yeah,
Right, right.
that's how they do it.
So are the ball joints like fixed amount of offset or is it adjustable? Like,
It's pretty well fixed because you it's offset to one side and then you turn it to get the offset you want.
okay.
As far as if you want it, if you want to set the top of the knuckle in versus forward.
Oh, yeah. So it could
Yeah,
do it could do some a little bit of caster as well then,
it
I
could,
guess.
yeah.
Yeah,
But
I
my
got
yeah,
you.
I don't need it. I don't necessarily need it for caster.
Oh, goodness. So, how much custom parts is on the suspension? Everything and besides the axle.
Um, yeah, I mean, yeah. Aside from the rear axle itself,
Mm,
the tube axle has been chopped up. Um, I've made a custom panhard bar for the front. The steering is actually off of a Jeep YJ um, Wrangler.
mm.
Let's see.
The steering box.
Steering box is actually a stock style.
Okay.
So that steering box is similar to a four-wheel drive S10. And if you go through Redhead,
Mm,
they actually, and you look up the Jeep part number, they actually specify in the description uh, for a quick ratio box, and you click on it, it takes you over to an S10 steering box. And so, yeah,
so,
quick
so that's
ratio
what
box
that's what
drops
you
right
have?
in. Yes, yeah.
Yeah. What's
Um,
what's the ratio on that thing?
oh, man, I can't remember. I'm trying to think. I think it's I think it's 3 turns lock to lock
No, that's not bad.
for
Yeah.
for factory, and
Mm,
then I think it's 2.5 lock to lock for the quick ratio redhead box.
mhm.
But now you can also get those boxes in something stupid like
Something stupid, right?
8 to 1. And yeah, because it's I think it's like a Saginaw box or whatever you call it.
Mm,
And so you can get them in 6 to 1 or 8 to 1, which
mm.
I don't need.
No, Tyler Gibson, the guy with Scout, he's
Yep.
got some crazy ratio box on his.
Yeah, yeah. I don't. I drive it on the street and I drive it to and from events. I don't need that much.
No, it'd probably be fun to try, but
Oh
yeah,
yeah, definitely. The thought crossed my mind because after I bought my redhead, there was one pretty local on Facebook Marketplace. I was like, dang it, should I try it?
yeah. I'd foresee a bunch of spin outs the first time.
Yeah, oh yeah, yeah. Bunch of tire scrub.
Hmm. Well, that motor's not stock either. Was it always kind of hopped up from the beginning?
So for the first couple of years, first 3 years or so, it was just a stock motor.
Hmm.
Um, or for the first 3 years of my ownership.
Hmm.
As far as autocrossing it goes, it's always been a stroker motor, but
Okay.
I had some valve float issues. It wouldn't rev past 4,500 RPM. And then I switched over to a better cam and spring setup and have all the RPM range now.
Hmm.
So yeah, the first few years of me owning it was stock. It broke a piston and bought a crate stroker, and then it was all downhill from there. Tried some autocross at Carlisle, went to Mo Party, and then all that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. What ECU you running on there?
It's a factory ECU. It's the JTEC 3 plug that they used, that Chrysler used on everything from like 96 to 03, 04, I think.
Okay. So how do you tune that?
You can use HP tuners.
Hmm.
Trying to think, what was the name of the other one? There was another. I can't remember the name of it. There was another brand of tuner you could
Okay.
use on that. Um, it was old school stuff, and they actually quit making the is it SCT.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they quit making the X3 unit. I think last year sometime, and so now you can't get new handheld units, and then you have to email them if you get a used unit to get or send your handheld in to have them uh, clear clear the VIN off of that unit.
Oh, okay.
But with HP tuners, I've heard of guys using uh, the MPVI 3,
Hmm.
um, but I'm using an MPVI 2 with the HP tuners tuning software, and it does all right
Yeah. Okay.
as far as what you can do with a JTEC computer, which is a little rough sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah. So would that thing run in a quarter mile at Mo Party?
I think it did a 14.5.
Okay. That's not
Um,
bad.
and that's for me, and I'm not a drag racer. So my launch could use some work, and if I'm rough on it, wheel hops. Yeah,
Yeah, I can imagine. I
yeah.
can imagine.
So
But
I don't have traction bars or anything like that on it.
yeah. Yeah, you just added a supercharger on it, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, yeah. I'm interested to see how my quarter mile times change. It's probably not enough to help me in Grand Champion, but it's gonna be
N-
fun to find out.
Yeah, that's my biggest problem too. I usually do
Yeah,
pretty good on autocross, but I just can't. I don't have enough horsepower to keep up with the other guys.
yeah, yeah. I understand.
What what's that supercharger off of?
So that is actually a off the shelf Whipple. Like you can still buy something very similar. You just buy it from them. You specify what snout length you want, and a company called Hesco out of Alabama, I believe.
Hmm.
They make performance Jeep parts. They were buying those and building plenums to drop it right on a stock intake.
Oh, neat.
So it's a really simple setup. You can basically unbolt your throttle body, lay it off to the side, not unplug anything, just lay it
Hmm.
off to the side, and drop your supercharger kit on and bolt your throttle body to the back of the supercharger. It's that simple on that kit.
And it just runs off the same accessory drive belt.
Yep. So the snout support for the supercharger um, actually bolts in with the power steering pump,
Hmm.
and then the belt goes from the power steering pulley over the snout of the supercharger.
That's cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
assume you had to change injectors and all, fuel pump and all that.
Yeah. Which I
Yeah.
had I had been scouring the junkyard. I've scavenged injectors from the 3800 supercharged motors a few times. I'm pretty quick at it now.
So, seat of the pants, does it feel a lot better?
Oh, definitely. Yeah,
Yeah.
the way it makes power now, it's pretty instantaneous. Before it felt like I needed to definitely downshift to first if we are doing like a pivot cone on
Mhm.
an autocross course. I definitely felt like I needed first gear coming out of those. Now, not so much.
Okay.
It definitely makes some good bottom end power now.
Right. Did you dyno it? Just kind of street tune.
Nope, street tuned.
Yeah. Yeah. I had a what was that? Not a CJ. TJ. I had a TJ. Had that
Mhm.
4 liter inline six. And I mean it had like 33s on it. And
Yeah.
it felt good in first, but anything after that, it was just such a dog. But
Oh
I
yeah.
mean, 6 cylinders are known to have a lot of torque, so I'd imagine that
Yep.
thing's pretty peppy now, especially with the stroker in.
Yep.
Yeah.
It does pretty good.
Mhm.
I'm happy with
Yeah. Well, it looks cool, especially
it.
now but it looked cool before, but now with a supercharger peeking out the head, it's even.
Oh yeah. It's definitely cool until you're driving off into the sunset and then you can't see anything because the supercharger is blinding.
Yeah,
Eh,
sunglasses, you know.
it's a worthy trade-off.
Yeah, obviously. So you've had some podium finishes in your short time. What Pro Touring Truck Shootout,
Yep.
Autocross Week. What
Yep.
else?
I've got a couple of firsts and a second at the Carlisle Real Street Shootout.
Mm,
It's a really small event, but still, it
that
counts,
it counts.
right? And then a bunch of local stuff. I've
Mm,
got some some wins, bunch of podiums up there, and then I, last year I was second in points for Cam with Trad Sports Car Club, so that was really cool. I
that's
was
cool.
super stoked about that. A lot of fun being competing with those guys.
Mm.
Um, yeah, that's pretty well the extent of it.
Did you beat some like muscle car? You were on Camp T, I assume, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So your local club, did you beat some guys in cars?
A lot of Mustangs, a lot of Mustangs. Yeah, I'm trying to
Yeah.
think. Yeah, I think that's pretty much that is the majority of our cam class is Mustangs. SN95s. There's a couple of Fox bodies. I'm trying to think. There's a Crown Vic swapped F100 we've got in class up there, which
Okay.
is which is really cool looking. Um, uh, a couple of Ford Rangers. Yeah, it's
That's
a
neat.
lot of Ford stuff.
Yeah.
We got
Interesting.
James in his Dodge
Yeah.
truck.
Yeah. He's getting a lot better too
Yeah,
lately.
man, he's turned into a real wheel man.
Yeah. It's
And
funny he's
then
got that Challenger
yeah,
also.
yeah,
And it
the scrapyard TA.
yeah. And which is probably a better autocross car, but he takes the truck.
Yeah, and the truck. Honestly, man, I've said it before. I'll say it again. The muscle trucks are underrated. James took that truck to Tennessee and car dollied a old F350 back with it. I'm telling you, man.
After racing.
Race trucks are the way, man.
They really are. And I've had a few guys on, and I
Hmm.
I mean I'm from the South, so obviously down the South trucks are pretty.
Yes,
It's
definitely.
more common, I guess, than some other places. And I've always owned a truck, and
Yep.
man, I really want to build one one day. But
You should.
eh,
You should do your black D150 and
eh,
haul the duster around with it.
that'd be awesome. I'd love a like a ramp truck. But
Oh, that would
then
be
you couldn't be like race it. That'd be the safest way to not make it a race car is if it's more of a utility vehicle.
right. Yeah. Get
Yeah.
like you could get a second gen Cummins painted up like the Duster. Then it couldn't be a race. It couldn't be a race vehicle,
Yeah.
and it would look really cool
But
pulling the car.
it would look pretty sick.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Um, so you just finished autocross week. Can you kind of and you drove from home
Yeah.
to the start. How far is that?
That's that is well because I went to Carlisle first. So Carlisle was the weekend of the 13th, I believe.
Mhm.
And then so I drove from home to Carlisle, which is
Mhm.
8 hours, and did the show at Carlisle. Um, and then I had a couple of days to, or I had a day to kill between being in Carlisle and being in Wampum, Pennsylvania
Mhm.
at Pittsburgh International or pit race.
Mhm.
And so I drove, I think, 4 hours across Pennsylvania to go to pit race. And
Mhm.
then we did autocross week. And unfortunately, I didn't drive home.
Oh no.
Yeah, yeah. Transmission. There was a bolt and came loose inside the tail housing of the transmission in fifth gear, punched it out the bottom.
Oh God.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah. It's
Was
not
that
that bad. Didn't cry about it. So
yeah, was
shouldn't
that
have done that.
Dorn was that Dorn competition?
So I was actually rolling up to the line on the last day,
Mm.
and I felt something. I looked behind me and I saw a little stream of something on the ground. And I said, "Oh no, that's not good." And I saw somebody behind me was
Mm.
like waving their arms frantically.
Mm.
So I stopped, shut it off, looked under it, and like, oh, that's coming out of the transmission.
Ah.
That's not that bad. I've got another one of those.
Did you
But
had one with you?
no, no,
Oh, okay.
no, I had to get home.
Oh, okay.
Which Pete Brucey really helped me out. He had his bus hauler, and
Oh yeah.
yeah, so we test fit the Jeep in the bus hauler and it fit. So he got me part of the way home. Met up with my parents. They had the car hauler, and then I trailered it the rest of the way home that way. So
Yeah. Did you do any kind of maintenance or anything in between the drive before the start?
I did some maintenance and bolt checked before I left for Pennsylvania. Um, and that was pretty well it. But during autocross week, so the first 2 days at pit race in mid Ohio went pretty flawlessly. They were, went out there, laid down some good times, was competitive, uh, and then I had issues on the third day at uh, International Expo Center, the IX Center. I had a harmonic bouncer came loose, and then which has happened before. So Jeremiah took me into town, and I got another harmonic bouncer and a puller, swapped harmonic bouncer in the parking lot, and then went out to make another run. And I I went to shift into third, and I guess I had my foot in the wrong spot. I slammed the brakes, and the little rod that controls my caster angle,
Mhm.
one of the Heim joints on it peeled open.
Oh God.
So my axle just tipped forward, and something felt. So I knew something felt off there. I rolled back into grid and stopped and checked things out, and I saw what happened. So then I had to get a ride from Ian uh, Bokesh, and he took me up to the Summit store, which worked out because he had to go to the Summit store to get his checkpoint anyway.
Okay.
I got I got a set of shocks because when the axle tipped forward like that, it bent the bottom eye of the shock and ripped the weld, and it puked shock oil all
Oh
over the
wow.
wheel. And so he took me up there. We he dropped me off. He went and found some E85. I bought all the stuff I needed. He took me back out there. There's nobody else out there except for his brother, Kurt. Um, Kurt stayed there because there's only 2 seats in the cyclone,
All right.
right? So got back, put the Jeep back together. Wasn't that big a deal. Just had to get parts. And then I left there in the afternoon to go to the Summit store in Akron, Ohio, to get my checkpoint, and then go drive back to pit race for the last day of competition. And when I stopped at the Summit store, JJ Combs was there and he was working on his truck. So I stayed, hung out with him, and we worked on his truck. And he actually let me stay at his place on, what was that, Thursday night.
Mm-hmm.
So it was pretty cool. He helped me out. I was able to help him out with that. And then got back to Pittsburgh really late. I think it was like 3:30 before I got in bed over there.
Oh wow.
And then last day of competition, and then the everything was going good, and then the transmission puked all over the staging lane. So that was, yeah.
Were you able to get a run in for the last day?
Oh yeah. So that happened in the afternoon session, and I had already made a really good run during that session.
Okay.
And then the transmission let loose, obviously.
That sucks. That's got to be a bad feeling when you know you got to drive home, right?
Yeah. It was kind of in the back of my mind. I was still having way too much fun.
Mhm.
People were like, "Oh man, sorry about the Jeep." I was like, "Man, it can't be that bad. I'm not rolling on the ground crying about it yet." So
Yeah. At least it wasn't the engine, right?
yeah, that's what I was worried about. If it was the engine, I probably would have cried.
So you were able to find a harmonic balancer at a local store?
Yeah, it's just a stock style bouncer.
Okay. Obviously, if they stock them, it's common that they have failures, right?
Yeah. So, but the harmonic bouncer I took off was actually a ATI unit. So it actually got loose and it broke the key. It broke or it cut the Woodruff key. Cut the top off the Woodruff key, and it was that part was stuck in the keyway of the harmonic balancer. And it was a billet hub, and it actually tore up the nose of the crank, which I've had this happen with stock style balancers, and the crank was always fine after that. So after I pulled the harmonic balancer off, I'm like, well, the end of the crankshaft's a little jacked up.
Yeah.
I, put a new harmonic balancer on, a new key, new Woodruff key on it, and it was fine. I got it to stay tight for the rest of the event. Well, actually, when I stopped at Summit Friday, I found a harmonic balancer spacer for a Chevrolet. I tested it against the harmonic balancer I pulled off. And I'm like, okay, cool. I can just throw that on the end of the crank, because what ended up being the problem there was the harmonic balancer. When you put it all the way on there, the face of the balancer was flush with the end of the crankshaft. So when you tighten the bolt down, it's not pinching the balancer against the shoulder of the crank.
Right.
Which I didn't realize after all these years, unfortunately. So I put a spacer on there, put everything back on there, torqued it down. The harmonic balancer was spaced out another 100 thousandths, but it didn't throw the belt off or anything wild like that. So I let it ride. So now I've got to order another crankshaft. I've got the Jeep in pieces over at my dad's place right now. But that shouldn't be that big a deal. I did find out that I could probably have that crank fixed, but the company can't. Once they weld it, they can re-weld and grind it back. They can't put a keyway in it. They said that the weld is too hard for them to machine a keyway into.
No, geez.
So, but my lifted Jeep needs a rebuild, so, and it doesn't really need a keyway if I'm going to run it naturally aspirated.
Right. Yeah. So it's not an actual vibration damper. Then it's internally balanced engine.
Well, it's internally balanced, but the reason the that it even has a keyway on there is because the older 4-liter motors actually have timing marks on the front.
Oh,
With being in fuel injected, I don't really need the timing marks on the front.
no, no.
So
But imagine the
press those
superchargers
on.
putting some harmonics into that thing, making it a little worse.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So because I had reached out to a couple of guys about just having that snout welded on that crank, and a lot of these guys were like, "Yeah, you're running a supercharger. You should really have a keyway or a Woodruff key in there or something."
Mm.
So it kind of convinced me. I may take that crankshaft, a new crankshaft, to the crankshaft shop and see if they will put a full length keyway in it for me.
Mm.
Do
Have you
that.
seen like a lot of the centrifugal kits come with a little tool to drill basically it places it half in the damper and half in the crank and you put a
Right.
pin in it.
Yeah.
Would that
Somebody
work?
somebody brought that up to me too. So I may
Okay.
I may look into that.
Yeah, it might save you from buying a crank if you can do that.
No, it's too much. It's too much going off that
Oh,
crank.
okay.
Yeah, it was pretty chewed up.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Now you're gonna be well. Are you gonna get that done before Mo Party?
Oh yeah,
Oh,
definitely.
okay. So the
Yeah.
cranks, you can find the cranks pretty easy.
Yeah, yeah. So Eagle actually makes Stricker cranks for the 4-liter.
Okay.
So
Do you have
yeah.
to you have to get the whole assembly rebalanced though?
Um, I'm probably gonna do that because I might go ahead and grab a new set of pistons while I'm at it.
Hmm.
Pistons, rings, and some bearings and whatnot for the bottom end, and go ahead and do all that stuff and just have it all freshened up.
Good to go. Is it head stock?
So the head is stock. It's the 1992 casting. The Jeep guys will know what I'm talking about.
Okay.
It's the better. It's probably the best as cast head.
Mm.
Uh, so it's a stock head. It's been worked a little bit for valve springs and whatnot, but that's pretty much it.
Hmm. That's neat. I'm ignorant to the Jeep hot rod world, so that's neat that they
Yeah,
make parts for them to
yeah, yeah. So
uh
the biggest thing with the I think it's the 7120 casting head is that all of the port transitions are like super smooth, and that's the port size that everybody kind of ports to when they do a gasket match. Like
mm,
the common gasket to use is the Felpro gasket because it's the same. It's the holes in the Felpro gasket are the same size as the 7120 casting.
I got
So everybody will use that and gasket match to that.
you. Hmm. So I know you and some of your buddies had some problems along autocross week. Do you see a lot of other people having issues?
So there was there was one other. I can't remember his name, but he had the it was a couple of buddies. They had a basically a Miata cart and with a Chevy supercharged Chevy Cobalt motor in it,
Mm,
and they had to bow out first day.
mm,
Which, talking to him later, it was some fuel pressure sensor and something like that,
mm.
which is a real bummer for it to have been such a simple fix.
Yeah. I guess I mean I've never done it. I really would like it's just far for me.
Yeah,
But they drag week, 6 week, all that. I mean, those cars obviously they have a lot of carnage, but they're
definitely.
less street car, more race car. Where our cars are more street car, and obviously they got some newer stuff, modern cars. I just wonder if they ever have any issues along the drives.
Well, I didn't I didn't really see any none of the like really stock style cars. No
Hmm.
Miatas were having problems. None of the
Right.
S2000s or anything like that were having problems. But guys like me, guys like JJ Combs, he had problems with the Lincolns on his truck. That's who I was in the Summit parking lot working on his truck with
Hmm.
till the late hours. And then Fran Marchand, he had issues with some shock mounts on his, but his truck is really custom too.
Hmm.
So yeah, I didn't see or hear a whole lot about anybody else. So I don't know.
Yeah, you got to be the lucky ones.
Yeah, which we all still
Finished, huh?
Combs, Marchand, and me, we all still made it to the last day. So
Yeah, that's what matters. You know,
yeah.
I mean, look, that's what it's about. If you wanted to have a simple, easy week, you drive a new Corvette, right?
Oh yeah, definitely.
But I think I was thinking about this earlier this week is, why not only me, but plenty of others choose to use, older stuff to do this. But I think it's all about the adventure and the experience of trying to make something do what it wasn't ever intended to do, you
Yeah,
know?
definitely, man. It's the uh the best way I've heard it put is George, one of our local guys, he's actually our novice instructor. He always puts it like to build a better mousetrap. And
Hmm.
cam class is a great is a is a great example of that. We've got, dusters, guys with Jeeps, guys with trucks.
Yep. Yep.
Um, uh, and it's, I don't know, it's for the gearheads, in my opinion. It's for the real gearheads that are really interested in what makes that stuff work.
Yep.
What, like, do I need more suspension angle? Do I need, a different steering box? Do I need
Mm.
different steering linkage? And like in my case, stuff like that. And you enjoy learning and going through that stuff and making it work. It's again to build a better mousetrap. It's and for guys like me and you, it's fun.
Yeah. Absolutely.
That's probably why we do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not saying it's the brightest thing, but we have fun with it.
It's definitely not financially responsible.
No, definitely
but
not.
but I mean, yeah, I mean, I'm always like, what if I do this? And then I got to convince myself is would that be something good or something bad or,
Mhm.
and then fortunately I haven't taken too many steps backwards, you know, um,
Right. Yeah.
which which is good. But I think the longer I'm in it, the more I learn, and
Mhm.
and then I do learn things, and like how can I adapt that to my junk,
Right.
So,
Right. Yeah. And I think the longer you're in it, the more stuff you find. Like if you, what I'm saying is, if you start with a very basic setup and you start wanting to try different driving techniques, and you find that, oh, maybe if I had this little piece of equipment, it might help me to learn more as a driver. I think at a certain point you get into that, and
mm,
then you start wanting to make some more modifications, because for the last few years I haven't changed much of anything aside from maybe some alignment stuff on the Jeep. I've just been driving it.
mm,
Change springs every once in a while, swap back and forth between sway bars every once in a while. See how I like that, and now I'm wanting to play with things like left foot braking, and then I'm starting to think, well, if I had some more brake bias, maybe a little bit more rear brake bias, could I would that help with left foot braking to help it rotate? Stuff like that. Get
mm,
you thinking, and
right.
then you want to try new things.
Mm. Is it you have is it have discs on the back?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so it's all stock disc brakes
So
then?
stock. It would have had drum brakes in the rear,
Oh, okay.
but you can you can use the disc brake setup off of a Jeep Liberty, the first generation Jeep Liberty.
Okay.
Swaps right over.
Mm.
Swaps
Do,
right over. You put a disc brake proportioning valve on it, and then good to go.
yeah. Do you does anybody make like aftermarket big brake kits for them?
So I'm trying to think. I think I think there are people that sell them, but I also think that is it's just all new parts from like the '04 Grand Cherokees.
Okay.
So the common junkyard swap is to go to an '04 Grand Cherokee, because you get a bigger rotor, you get and you get bigger calipers, stuff like that, big dual piston calipers. And it's just a better brake setup than the factory stuff, because the factory brakes, the brake pads actually ride on on a set of cast iron rails that are cast into the knuckle. And
Ah,
so eventually stuff starts happening, like the pad, the backing pad actually wears a groove into the cast iron, and then you start having the brakes getting stuck. So then you gotta like pull and weld them, and they're rather small. It's a single pot caliper and
mm,
stuff like that. But you can go to, again, you can go to an '04 Grand Cherokee. You can take the knuckle off and uh, use the Grand Cherokee. It's the upper lower ball joint. You have to use one of those. I don't remember which one, but it goes right on to a 90s Cherokee, and then you have big brakes.
yeah,
You can run 17-inch wheels with it, which it's not that big a deal. Looks
mm,
good. I'm happy about that. And it stops pretty good.
yeah.
So
Uh, You have 18, you have 17s now or
yeah,
18?
running 17s on it.
17s.
Yeah,
Yeah. What size tire is that?
running a 255/40.
255.
Yeah.
Any plans to step up to an 18 and go a little wider?
I don't know. I've thought about it, but also I'm kind of running into clearance issues as it is.
Mm,
So if I go, I'm really kind of, or I should say, the Jeep is really kind of built around a 25-inch tall tire.
mm,
Just because that was the when I lowered it, that was the stance I liked. That was the ride height I liked and went with. And so it's already kind of getting into the fender flares as it is. So
okay.
I don't I don't really want to go any bigger.
Mm,
If I do anything else like that, I'll probably just start with something else.
yeah. Well, I mean, if it's not a problem right now, I mean,
It's not a problem right now. I mean, I'm definitely under tired and undergunned for some of the competition that's out there, but
yeah,
it is what it is, and I'm still having fun with it. So
yeah. I
I don't
think a
think it's that
three, I think a 315/30 is only 25 inches tall.
big. Hmm.
They just stick out a little bit.
Well, Bushwhacker makes fender flares for him.
Yeah, yeah, that's the one thing about it. You could use like real off-road Jeep parts, just get the big fat flares, you know.
Yes, yeah, definitely.
So the autocross week courses, are they pretty long and fast?
So they had a pretty good variety. Um, at at pit race, it was pretty long, and it was definitely kind of a horsepower track. It had a bunch of like what do you say, hairpins, and then it would be a straight into another sweeper or a hairpin, and then into a slalom and stuff like that. And then at Mid Ohio, it was an actual go kart track. It was a big kidney bean shaped like go kart track. It had crazy elevation change, and you had to be on top of your stuff, because if you were late on any of that, you were gonna be messed up coming into the inside part of the kidney bean.
Mm.
And yeah, again, you just had to be on top of your turning, on top of your braking, or you were going to be pointed at the little kicker cone headed down the hill.
What,
Uh,
well, that was probably helpful for you. What's the wheelbase on that thing?
oh, I don't know right off the top of my head.
Oh no, okay.
I've never really looked at it, because I never thought I needed to know.
Yeah, it seems like it's got to be around 102 or three, maybe. I don't know.
That honestly sounds right.
Hmm.
I think it, yeah, I think that sounds pretty good. I think it's around between 100 and 110.
Oh, it's definitely between that because my car's 108.
Okay. Yeah. So it's
Yeah,
got to be down around the 100
yeah,
then.
yeah. That's cool. You ever did any national SCCA events?
No, I want to. It's on my radar. But also I need to I need to check my official width over height, because
Ah,
yeah, I am scared of just showing up to one of those events and somebody calls me out for it, and then I don't get to compete. So I need to
yeah.
check that before I go. I think it's going to be close. I might could fudge a couple of things,
You get
but
those 315/30s and it'll give you a little more width.
that's true. That's true. Could try
Yeah.
that.
I did the Cam Challenge in St. Louis
Okay.
back in May, and that was I probably won't ever do like the big Lincoln thing, but the Cam
Right.
Challenge was definitely fun because there was so many Cam cars there, you know.
Right.
Um, what wasn't fun is it rained an entire day and it was freezing cold, but it was
No.
still fun nonetheless.
Yeah. Yeah, that sounds good. If that was a little bit closer, I'd probably be very interested to do it. They have national tour that they do in, I believe they do one of those in Concord, North Carolina, and they do one in Bristol.
Okay.
So I definitely interested in going to one of those.
Hmm.
Um, and I would really like to go do nationals in Lincoln sometime as well. Uh, but that's still, that's a long way for me to go.
That's a long way.
That's a lot of travel time for me.
Yeah.
And I already an 8 hour trip to Pennsylvania is still a daunting task for me.
Did you have a crew chief with you or you were by yourself?
No, by myself.
Whew.
Yeah, yeah. I have a crew chief for Mo Party though.
Okay. That's good. That's good. Yeah. I was solo last year, but he's supposed to be coming this
Oh,
year.
cool.
But it was he was supposed to come last year, but he had a little emergency with his father, so he couldn't come. But
I hate
um
to hear that.
yeah. He was totally fine. It just we had a hurricane run through like literally the day before I was supposed to leave.
Right,
Yeah,
that's right. I remember that.
yeah, and so a lot of people without power, his
Yep,
father
yep,
included, and he just wouldn't leave him.
yep.
Uh,
No, I understand that.
so, but yeah, he's supposed to be all in this year. And what's funny is he's been coming so much now. People are asking where he was at. I keep telling him he needs to buy a car because everybody expects you to be there.
Yeah, definitely. You should definitely crap talk him into getting a car.
Yeah, he's got a car. It's a '57 Chevy, but
No,
uh,
yeah,
yeah,
just tell him to put a third gen Hemi in it. He'll
yeah,
let him.
no, it's got a pretty awesome big block in
Nice,
it.
nice.
So
Yeah, that's the big show that he wants to go to every year, and he won't miss it. So
mm, I won't miss it either. I mean, that first
yeah.
year, 2021, I had so much fun, and I've said this multiple times. When I'm pulling out the gate on Sunday, I'm like, "Is it next year yet?" You know.
Yes, definitely. It is, as far as seat time and competition and just, again, good people hanging out with all your buddies out there that you make, and
Mm.
it's a good time.
Yeah, yeah. It's almost like a family reunion because a lot of the guys, like,
Yep.
I text with them all year round, and you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
so it's definitely a good time. I encourage anybody. You don't have to have a Mopar. Just go to LS Fest or Ford Fest,
Yeah.
whatever. And I think Jimmy and his team do a good job. Making sure everybody's having a good time, and the course is fun. I'm wondering if they're going to change it this year.
I don't know. I've been curious about that every year too. And then every once in a while they talk about running the course backwards.
Hmm.
I mean, I'm almost interested in that because we've run the course the same way so many times. I'd
Mm.
be interested to try it backwards.
I think the problem is the guys that don't come on Friday and only Saturday that would screw their times.
Yeah.
They'd
Yeah.
have to come up with a new scoring
Right.
method.
Right.
Yeah, I think they can because LS Fest they race there and at the Corvette Museum.
Yeah.
So
But they have so many people at LS Fest.
yeah,
They kind of have to.
I think they said didn't they say they have like 250 Grand Champion cars or something like that?
Yeah, I think they have to cap it at that, don't
Yeah, like and it sells out like instantly.
they? Yeah, which is wild.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
I I don't and I think they only get about 6 autocross runs or something like that, which
That's crazy. But I mean, it is what it is. It's been the most popular, show that FM3 puts on
hmm
with Holly. So,
yeah.
and it's been around. I think it's been around longer than Mo Party and Ford Fest, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, hell, they do the one in Texas and Vegas too. So they're all over.
Yeah.
Damn LS guys.
I know, man. Jeez.
All right, let's move on to the my random questions.
Okay.
Which I know you're doing a lot of wrenching. So what's your favorite or most used tool you got in your toolbox?
Ooh, probably my little electric ratchet.
Oh man, I'm with you on that. I
Yeah.
love it.
Yeah. I go over to my buddy's place. I go over to Jacob's and they're working on stuff and Josh will be over there just wrenching by hand. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? You have an electric ratchet. And he's got a nice one. He's got a Milwaukee.
That's the one I have, and man, I'll wear that sucker out.
Oh yeah, man.
I
They're
love
great.
it. What kind of music you listen to when you're working in the garage?
If it's rocking, I'm listening.
I'm with you on that one too. We're becoming better friends at the by the minute here. So what obviously you do everything in your Jeep yourself.
Hmm.
What so like welding, fabrication, mechanical, electrical, what skill do you think needs the most improvement?
Uh, all of it. I want to be better at all of it. Now, as far as like welding and fabrication, I've always wanted to be a better welder and fabricator. Um, I've been trying. Don't get me wrong, but I just sometimes I don't do enough of it, and then there's a span of time between when I'm like TIG welding
Mm,
because I've been trying to do some more TIG welding, and I'm not that great at it. I'm getting better, but I definitely that's one of those things that just I want to be better at.
mm, yeah. Yeah, I'm with you on that too. I don't even own a TIG welder, but I've done it a couple of times, and the couple of times I've done it was on aluminum, which is
Oh,
probably not the best material to start with, but
yeah,
it certainly wasn't pretty. But the stuff stuck together, so that's all that mattered.
yeah, that's right.
um, let's see. All right, last one. This is a new one. I'm just starting it out. Who would you nominate to be a guest on the show?
Oh man, dude, I have a whole list of people I could nominate to be on here.
Just throw a few of them out.
Uh, Greg Hazinga, he'd be
Yeah,
pretty
yeah.
cool. He's
He,
he's
he
super
he's
smart,
definitely on a list. He's got to
dude.
cap off the Jeep guys that I know.
Yes, yeah,
Yeah,
and that Jeep of his is an absolute beast. It's awesome.
I love it. What's
Um,
crazy is it's pretty much a stock Hemi. You know,
yeah, yeah, that is absolutely wild. It's a stock bottom end 5.7.
right? Making like 800 horse or something like
Yeah,
that.
an instantaneous boost. It's insane.
Did you ride? Have you ridden with him on autocross?
I did. I did a ride along with him in like 2021,
Mm,
my first my first year at Mo Party. So we showed up a little bit late and he came over and talked to me. He's like, "Well, why don't you do a ride along with me real quick?" I'm like, to get a lay of the course. And so we did, and I'm just like, "Holy crap, dude! This thing is fighting for every bit of traction it's got."
mm. He's a wild man behind the wheel
Dude,
too.
he is absolutely. I think
No, I just remember when I rode with him. He's you know coming out that like hairpin to cut across the infield.
yeah,
And the thing's fighting for traction and wheel hopping and the whole thing's shaking and
yeah,
uh it was a blast. I was laughing the whole time.
oh yeah.
But yeah, anybody that goes to Mo Party, go find Greg and his blue
Yeah,
Jeep and
talk to him,
get
look
a
at his
ride.
feet. Yeah, get a ride. I think it's awesome. I think we need to talk James Phipps into getting on here too.
You think?
Oh, definitely, man. He's got a bunch of good stories.
Okay.
Um
I
uh
think I think I mentioned it to him before, but
yeah.
he seemed a little gun shy.
Uh, maybe might take a little encouragement. I think we
Yeah.
can
Tell him to have a couple of shots of whiskey before he gets on.
get here.
Who-
Let's see. I think our novice instructor would be pretty good to have on here. He's another Mustang guy, unfortunately, but what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
George Paraskevas, he'd be pretty cool to have on.
What was his name?
George Paraskevas.
Okay.
He does novice instruction for for Triad Sports Car Club and Tar Heel Sports Car Club.
Okay. All right. That's cool. I'll see if I can find, well, I can find Greg and James for sure.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
But we can wrap it up there. But before we go, where can you got any social media people can check you out?
I'm usually only active on Instagram as Captain Skiddy, CAPTN_SKIDY. I'm on Facebook, but I'm really just there for private groups and marketplace. So no need to find me there.
Yeah. All right, man. I enjoyed it. I look forward to seeing you at Mo Party.
All right, yeah, man, I'll see you there. Thanks for having me on, Tim. It's been
All right.
great.
All right. Later, everybody.